Welcome everyone to a very special video for the channel. Today, our amazing alien community here at Project Acheron has finally reached 5,000 total subscribers. It has been 3 years in the making and 2 years since we reached 1,000 subs. And the rate of our growth has been slowly growing from year to year and month to month and week to week. It makes me overly excited every time I open up YouTube Studio or check my statistics just to see how many new people are coming to the channel every day, leaving comments, subscribing and interacting with each other and building a great alien community together. I just first want to say thank you to everyone so much for all the support you have given me over the last 3 years on this channel. Obviously, I couldn't have done anything like this without the support of everyone. It's given me the motivation to keep going with stuff like the Massive Alien animated series that I do. That takes a lot of work and it takes a lot out of me, and having your guys' support, and every time I upload one of them I get scores of people saying how much they enjoy it, and they give me so much praise on it. It just warms my heart. But without getting too emotional, I just wanted to say that I really hope that your support and your enjoyment on the channel will continue into the future, and will persevere through whatever trials that come our way in the next coming months and years. And now that I'm recording this 5,000 sub video, I'm actually already in the process of planning a video for 10,000 subs. It's going to be something different for the channel, which I think everyone will find quite fun. But I'm sure it'll be quite embarrassing as well for what I have planned, but it'll be worth it when we hit 10,000. But enough about the future for now. Let's get into what this video is all about. It's a reading and replying to your comments video. I've never done one of these for Acheron. I did one on my other channel, the gaming channel, when it hit 5,000 subs. So I thought that one was really fun to record actually. So I thought I would do one here. I picked out a few of your guys' comments and I'll be reading them here and discussing them. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy, and without further ado, let's get into the video. Also, before I start, apologies if I get anyone's name wrong. I am not very good with names and I'm not very good with a lot of pronunciation, so you're just going to have to forgive me for that. So the first question is from the Dorak. I wonder though why their homeworld never checked on them. I have seen on the movie their homeworld is contained in another Andromeda galaxy. So this is in reference to the video I did about the prawns, which are from District 9. I would think that maybe there could be a few reasons why their homeworld never came and saved them. One could be that their homeworld was already in a bad state when they left, which was why these seemingly a colonization mission was sent out, because there was I think 1 million prawns by the time that when they cut open the ship. There's 1 million prawns already on board, so that's quite a lot for just if it was a scientific expedition or something like that. So I think maybe something had gone on the homeworld. But aside from that theory, I suppose that you could say that it's like what the Mars missions would be like here on Earth. When we send people to Mars, it's likely going to be a one-way trip for quite a while. There's not going to be a lot of back and forth. It will be a crew that gets sent there with most of the supplies that they have or that they need to be self-sufficient. And once they get there, that's it. They don't have any help. They don't have anyone to come and save them if things go wrong. They have to make it work. So maybe that's what the theory was here with sending this group of prawns out. But yeah, I'm not sure. And it's not like the prawns really had any way of contacting them, I suppose, after the control ship fell. But I'm not sure. It's there's a couple of different answers for that. First, Acheron Queen says, "Congratulations, human. Woohoo party." Well, thank you so much for that. First, Acheron Queen is a returning subscriber, and she's pretty much comments on every video. And the account is actually run by the first Acheron Queen from LV426, so be wary what you actually say to her. She's not very fond of Yautja. Deep House 79 asks, how much do you admire David? If you are able to assist him in his experimentation, would you? Well, that's an interesting question. I don't exactly know whether I admire David. I find him very interesting. I am much more interested in him than what I would ever say that I admire him or anything like that. But watching him evolve and grow from when we have seen him in Prometheus at the very beginning of the film to the end of that film, and then into Covenant, and by the end of that film, it's very interesting to see this personality build in him that is completely artificial and is shaped by his experience that he's had around humanity. And if I was able to assist him in his experiments, would I? I don't know. He's pretty unethical. Don't exactly know whether I would have the stomach to do some of the experiments that he would do. And I don't know whether he really is into lab partners other than using them in the experiments, so I would probably try and get out of there as quick as I could. Elva Gonzalez Perez says we need a sequel to Predators, same director, writers and actors. Well, I don't think we're ever going to get that. I think there was originally a film that was going to come out. There was going to be a direct sequel to it, but I'm pretty sure they got scrapped and we got The Predator instead, which very hard opinions on that film. But I don't think we need a film for it. We did get a comic that told a little bit of what happened to Royce and Isabel after the events of Predators. I don't think that's exactly enough. I would like to see them escape the game reserve planet and really triumph over the Yautja that had them trapped there. What's interesting is that Predator Hunting Grounds is doing such a great job of expanding the Predator lore at the moment. They've brought back Dutch. They've explained what he did between the game and the first movie. I really hope they do the same for Mike Harrigan, and I hope they meet up. And it would be great to see Royce and Isabel in some way, some shape or form make an appearance in the game, and then we can learn a little bit about how they escaped or something along the lines, and then have them join the OWLF. But that's just my opinion. Hans Timmick says that our DVD copies of Alien 3 won't be deleted if they produce this film for cinema. Now he's referencing, I'm pretty sure it's the Neil Blomkamp Alien 5, which was set to pretty much erase Alien 3 and Resurrection. And as for this statement, it doesn't really mean anything to me. I know our DVD copies of Alien 3 won't be deleted. Obviously they can't just be destroyed. But my problem with it is that there has been a big canon forming around Alien. There's a lot of people working really hard to make a solid canon that makes sense, is interesting, and can work as a framework for future like TV shows and movies to build off of. And an Alien 5 like that pretty much just says fuck you to all that and screws it over. So yes, our DVD copies won't be destroyed, but a lot of the hard work that people have done in the expanded universe will be. And you might say that it doesn't matter if it's not canonical. Well, it does to a lot of people. It does to me, and I know a lot of people who it really matters to. So, each to their own, I suppose. Comradechungus asks, I think it is kind of weird that aliens don't die in space. Their blood should still boil, and they should still die of explosion. Well, that is only true in like sort of soft-bodied organisms, I suppose. The problem with the Xenomorphs is, well, it's not actually a problem, it helps them survive, especially in the space scenario, is that their bodies and their circulatory system is encased. It's pressurized and it's encased within their exoskeleton. So when you shoot a Xenomorph, part of it, the part that you've shot or punctured, will spew out blood because it's heavily pressurized within their body, and it's designed that way so that if you ever are able to land a decent shot on a Xenomorph, then you're pretty much going to die in the process of killing it. Now, what does that mean for it being in space? Well, if their blood is being kept in a closed system where it can't boil and can't escape because of pressure, because the pressure inside is already greater than what a normal atmosphere is, having it in a vacuum isn't going to do much more. It's going to be the same effect. The Xenomorph will survive. The blood won't escape because it is enclosed in their exoskeleton. bughuntwilson asks, I wonder if we will see the new ship in the Alien game along with other stuff from the extended universe. I don't know if he means... I did a video on the Prometheus, so I think maybe he means the Prometheus. I doubt we will see that in the new Alien game. The new Alien game from Cold Iron Studios, as far as I'm aware, is being set pretty far after Prometheus. It definitely is set after, because, or at least after Alien Covenant, because the game is said to involve Weyland Yutani, which wasn't formed until around Alien Covenant. So I don't think we'll be seeing the Prometheus anytime soon. But they are said to be using the black pathogen accelerant in that game, or at least in the prequel novel. So, where did they get that? Well, they could have gone back to LV-223 and picked it up. So, maybe we will get to see it. I don't know. I would actually really like to see them go back to LV-223 and have a mission of us retrieving some of the substance, and we get to see some of the aftermath of what happened there after Shaw and David left. bughuntwilson asks, do you think we will get to see the acid-resistant armor from Aliens Genocide? Well, we actually, with the Aliens Resistance and Rescue comics, we've actually got to see in canon at least Weyland Yutani starting to adapt some of the aliens' biology into weaponry, and to a degree maybe even armor. So we see that they have bullet tips, that the tip is made out of, I'm guessing, the Xenomorph's flesh or exoskeleton, because it allows it to contain a little packet of acid, and when the bullet is shot and impacts something, it breaks the tip and the acid bleeds into wherever the bullet impact is. So when it hits a biological organism, not only do they suffer a bullet wound, but also a massive amount of corrosive damage from the actual acid inside the bullet tip itself. In the Weyland Yutani guide too, pretty far into the future, set after Alien Resurrection, we see that Weyland Yutani is actually developing a bunch of medical applications for Xenomorph materials. They're developing military resources like these gigantic acid weapons, and that they actually are indeed creating a type of fabricated armor built around the Xenomorph's exoskeleton, which would keep the properties of the acid resistance. So I think we will definitely see some kind of acid resistant armor as time goes on in the Alien universe, and maybe it'll be applied to what's known as the dog catchers, which were heavily featured in they were at the end of Alien 3, and they've been heavily featured in Destroyer of Worlds, the newest expansion for the RPG. So it would make sense for these dog catchers, the wranglers of the Xenomorph, to have acid-resistant armor. I Above All says, actually that would be interesting to know just exactly what Yutani was prior to the merger of Weyland Yutani. We only see the CEO in AVP2. I don't exactly know what the origin of Yutani was in the Alien universe. I know that they had a lot of disagreements with the Weyland Corporation throughout its history. I think they went as far as to actually claim that Weyland's patent of the David synthetic was a stolen idea from their own patents, and I think they filed a suit against him at some point in his timeline. But I'm pretty sure that Yutani was largely a synthetic producer. I could be wrong here. I might actually have to do a full video just going into what the full history was of Yutani before it was merged with Weyland Yutani. but I'm pretty sure that they were heavy into synthetics, and that's why there was the big dispute about who actually created or owned the patent for the David Model series androids. But it is something I'll look into. Shadowmark03 says that, well, it's been a week now since the AVP Essentials Volume 2 was supposed to be released, I'm guessing he's saying, and so has it been cancelled / delayed? I actually looked into that, and it has released, but the websites say that it could be late due to shipping reasons and obviously COVID reasons as well. But it has officially released. You can go and purchase it on all those websites. Kai Kruzik says more Lovecraft, and I can absolutely do that. The first Lovecraft video I did has done really well. The second one I did was on Nyarlathotep, and that one has done pretty good, not as good as the first one. So if there's a specific creature that you guys want to see from the Lovecraft mythos, let me know and I'll cover that one specifically. My name is Kelpie said, well, we lost AVP, but maybe the new Alien game will have a crossover with Hunting Grounds where you could hunt Xenomorphs as a group of 3 unblooded predators. That would be so fun, but probably won't happen. Yeah, that's not going to happen, I'm sorry to tell you. I agree that it would be pretty fun to have Xenomorphs in Hunting Ground and be able to play as a predator hunting them down, or even play as the Xenomorphs in as the opposing team. But sadly, Hunting Grounds is strictly in the Predator IP, and there's 3 IPs, so there's Predator, there's Alien, there's AVP. Hunting Grounds is strictly Predator, so there's not going to be any crossovers, there's not going to be any AVP material, and anything like that will be little Easter eggs or references. The new Alien game won't have anything to do with Predator or AVP again, it's strictly in the Alien universe. But if we ever get an AVP game, we could always see something like this, but it's not going to happen with those 2 separate games. They're just part of different universes, and all the contracts and stuff won't work out. Joshua Stritmatter asks, I wonder if the film would have returned Alien to being a mystery just like the original. That's Alien 5, Neil Blomkamp's. That's what it's in reference to. And I don't think it would have returned it to a mystery, rather than just maintained the mystery, as the sequels pretty much did. They never really explained where the Xenomorphs come from, why it was there, what the space jockey was, or anything like that. So it would have just been another sequel that didn't explore what happened before. I think it's Kylie Anderson. I have to agree with you. What I want most is for Ridley Scott to make a 3rd prequel film as well. David deserves to have his story completed. I love Ripley and totally agree with Sigourney Weaver that she deserves a rest. No need for retcons of earlier sequels, no need for it to all be a dream, BS. If there is one thing I've learned from the past decade's legacy sequel obsessions, it's that these beloved characters need to be left alone. I completely agree with you, I think we're on the exact same wavelength. Ripley had her films. She was an amazing character, but she doesn't need to keep being resurrected and brought back when the Alien universe has so much richness to it. You could explore almost any story, as long as it's a good story. It doesn't really matter what characters you use. If the story's good, it's compelling, you actually feel the horror of what's going on, it doesn't matter what characters you use or what setting it is, it'll be a great story. Jazzy Blade has a question from our animated series, pretty much asking, how did David recount the events of the previous 2 episodes? By which they mean the events that occurred between the space jockeys and the engineers millennia ago. Asking if they've set up some kind of recording booth, and that David had listened to. Well, it's not like that. It's that the engineers kept record of their history, like humans do. And David obviously found this history within the Hall of Heads, which was, well, it seemed to be some sort of historical site for the population of Paradise. And so there was likely recounts of what had happened in their history and how it all went down between them revolting against their space jockey overlords. I think it's Gadil Gonzalez. how long does it take you to draw, color, and animate these? In reference to the animated series again. And it takes a while. The scripting and the voice acting and editing it together actually doesn't take very long at all. Drawing, coloring, and doing the animation for it is what takes the longest. It's the hardest part, and it can take from a month or two to much longer. It really just depends on the scope of the project, which is why episodes 7 and 8 are probably going to take a little bit longer. ASM Colorizing has a question about why do they farm intelligent life and not just farm domesticated biomass? This, I think, so this question is in reference to the markers video I did on the Dead Space universe. I don't exactly know why the markers inherently target intelligent life, because that is not always the largest biomass of a planet. Usually, like for instance here on Earth, the biomass of or what we would consider unintelligent creatures or less intelligent creatures is far greater than anything that humans could ever compare to. So I'm not exactly sure, but I would think the markers would have the ability to influence things that aren't as intelligent as humans, because most other animals still have a very high level of intelligence, but I'm not sure. My answer is I don't know. I'm not even going to try and pronounce this name because I have no idea what it says, and I will for sure get it wrong, but I'm just going to say Futang because that's the beginning of it. They ask, can you do a lore about the Extinction Aliens from COD Ghosts? Because I'm still curious about them to this day. I actually have a video planned on that very thing, so you are in luck. Super Spinner Gaming HD says, if the Cold Irons game is anything like Aliens Isolation, I agree. I want to see the game hammer into the terror of the Xenomorph, have them be hard to kill and smart with their AI, and not mindless like zombies in Colonial Marines. But if they're going for a multiplayer-centric mode like Hunting Grounds or Colonial Marines multiplayer, then I would recommend to have the Xenomorphs be a playable character in a few game modes like they did in Colonial Marines, but better. I wholeheartedly agree. I think that the campaign should just be you as a person going through and fighting an intelligent AI Xenomorph. I don't want something that's sloppy, because the whole point of the Xenomorphs is that one of the biggest points about the Xenomorphs and fighting them is that they are so intelligent. You take away that intelligence and they just become a wave of zombies, as you said, just to kill. But in the multiplayer, you can give people the ability to take control of the Xenomorph, and then it's still fun. So yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with your comment. Bicolored Prawn. I have to say, for all its faults and all the liberties it takes with the source material, the Spielberg version is possibly the most faithful adaptation of the book to date, and this is in reference to 2005's War of the Worlds. There are many similarities to the book that people don't realise, and you may not notice some at first, and it captures the bleak tone perfectly. The weakest part of the film for me was the aliens themselves, and the sheer horror of the tripods and the aliens are pretty underwhelming. I wasn't never scared of the aliens specifically. I sort of agree with that. I don't think they were supposed to be scary though specifically. I don't think that was the point. I think it was supposed to show what their actions and the technology that they create is something completely horrifying, because the tripods used to scare the shit out of me as a kid. I know a lot of people disagree with my point that 2005's War of the Worlds is my favourite adaptation of the book. I don't know why so many people don't like it, but I actually think it's still the best version to come out ever. There's been a lot of miniseries and other films about it, but I've never really gotten any real sense of terror from those ones, other than just what I would get watching any other horror film. War of the Worlds by Spielberg actually scared me. A-Cats asks, wait, it's canon now? I thought the only canon was Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Resurrection, Isolation, Covenant, Prometheus, and Prometheus Fire and Stone. Okay, so I'm actually doing a full video breaking down every single piece of canon information soon. It's going to include a timeline and stuff like that so that it's clear what is currently canon as of the year 2020. I can tell you now, Prometheus Fire and Stone is not canon. Any of the Fire and Stone and Life and Death materials is specifically canon to the AVP universe, not Alien. In terms of Alien, it is all the major films. It's Isolation, it's the comics Defiance, Resistance Rescue, Dust to Dust, Dead Orbit, it's the novels, Prototype, Sea of Sorrows, River of Pain, Out of Shadows, Aliens Phalanx, Aliens the Cold Forge. I think that's all of them. Oh, Alien Echo. And then you've got the 2 future books, Alien Infiltrator and Alien Into Cryptids. But for now, and the Alien the RPG, of course, and a couple of other source books that are set within the universe. But that's all the canon at the moment. So, luckily Fire and Stone isn't just thrown away, it's part of the AVP canon. So, not Alien, but AVP. And last but not least, I have Chicken Strip, who asked me to expose beans, I'm guessing baked beans of some sort, to the black goo. Well, while you might have thought that I would just laugh and move on from this comment, I'm actually going to do the experiment.
Big things have small beginnings.